Hi, I'm Angela Casey and welcome to Edinburgh Outdoors, a podcast exploring Edinburgh's outdoor spaces and the people in them. Today I'm in Dalkeith Park, which is a great space outside the city with a huge kids play park. There's shopping, there are restaurants, there are events on all the time. It's worth keeping an eye on social media to see what they have coming up. And there are also fantastic woods to walk in. I come here frequently with my dog. And today there's an outdoor market, and that's why I'm here. I've come to meet Nadine Pierce of Pentland Aromatics and learn about her products and about her company. So I'm down here today at the Dalkeith Country Park open market, and there are lots of stalls here. It looks fantastic. And welcome to Edinburgh Outdoors, Nadine Pierce from Pentland Aromatics.
Hello.
So tell me about your business. These products look amazing.
So I am one of those people that took on a hobby during lockdown, and I started making soap. Feel free to have a smell of things if you fancy.
So you set it up in lockdown?
Yeah, I started making soap in lockdown, and let's just say it grew a few arms and legs. I started making soap, giving them to people, then I started making salts and candles and balms and things, and then people started to, there's only so many you can give away to people, and then they started asking if I could make them hampers for wives and gifts and things like that. So I looked into it a bit more. And then I decided to set up a little website just with 12 different fragrances of candle and reed diffuser, because they're a bit easier from a legal perspective to do than cosmetic products that touch your skin. And
they smell really nice.
Do they?
They do smell.
Yeah, and I've got matching essential oil products there, the soap-filled sponges and the bath salts. I was working full-time, as you do, and me being me, always take it. Someone comes to you and suggests something, and you go, oh yeah, I'll give that a go. And before you know it, you end up with a full-time job of your own.
Yeah, so you go around markets all the time? You're always outdoors at markets, is that right?
Saturdays and Sundays. Most weekends I'm at markets. Last year I did 76 between March and the middle of December. A lot of them are outdoors markets.
So how do you keep warm?
Well, I have an electric body warmer, which is one of the best investments I've ever got.
So that's glowing at the moment, is it?
Yeah, so it's on. So I've got different heat areas. I've got electric socks. They're not on today. Today, I've got fleecy lined thermals, leggings. I've got thermal base layers under here.
Because I guess you're not moving much, are you?
And if you're on concrete as well. So in winter, we're not quite there yet, but I have, as well as my electric socks, I've got heat pads that go in my shoes, and I've got them that go on my hands as well. I'm not joking. And multiple different layers, because it could be windy, it could be rainy. It's Scottish weather.
But you also sell online, is that right?
Yes, but I've found that in the first instance, people really need to smell and try my products. So most of my customers that buy online have met me at a market somewhere, or they've been given my products as a gift, and then they know that they like it. But the initial introduction is maybe in a shop, or they've come to Scotland on holiday and they've stayed somewhere that has my body wash in the bathrooms.
And they want to keep buying it, because I'm sniffing them all while I'm talking to you, and they smell fantastic. They're really nice. And I've had some of your products before.
Oh, you have?
They are amazing. We have some listeners in America.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So I'm sniffing Scottish thistle now. Oh, which is lovely.
It's one of my best sellers.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm going to be bringing it out. I've had all the certification done, and when you sell products that touch your skin, you have to send your recipes off to be approved by a chemist to prove that it's safe for your skin. So I've had all of that done in the Scottish thistle, so I'll be able to make it in the body wash and body lotion and bubble bath soon as well.
Oh, lovely. So, and wild heather.
So that was the fragrance they had in the Signet Library.
Oh yes, because you do corporate white label goods, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That's a lovely scent. I really like that. Where are you making your products?
So I make all my products in a tiny little place called 9 Mile Burn, which is at the base of the Pentland Hills.
It must take over your life.
It does a
Because you
little.
have so many products here. I'm just looking at it.
And I've got more coming out soon as well. I'm working on new products for Christmas.
Oh, yes. Should we talk Christmas?
Oh, we can do.
So at Christmas, obviously, you're going to be super busy. That's mainly online, is it, or markets?
Both. So, I mean, Christmas has already started for me because I make everything that I sell, and I have to make new products every year for Christmas because I've got really loyal customers who buy stuff from me every year. Plus, a lot of them know that I started making soap, which is how I grew into a business, and I've never ever had it done to be able to sell it. So it'll be nice to go back to my roots. But that's a huge lead time because it takes several weeks to cure. I make candles for other people. So there's a couple of artists. One, Echo Beach Design, she hand paints ceramic pot. And there's another one in Pennycook. She's Sandra Vick artist, and she has her designs on pots. And I fill them, make candles for them in their own pots. I started making things for a couple of charities. Simba is a charity that helps people that have lost a baby, and they give memory boxes out to people that have lost a baby in hospitals around Scotland, and part of that memory box is a tea light. So I make tea lights for them. A staggering amount, really. It's quite sad, but it's quite a meaningful thing.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing to do.
And I've started working with St Columba's Hospice, and I've been making a candle and a reed diffuser for them to be able to raise funds for the charity. But they've also got some of my products in their store as well. I've got products in various retail outlets, and I also supply to hotels and trade as well.
Yeah. And the Christmas stuff that you do you do specific scents for Christmas? I think I once had a candle
you like
from
my
you
Spice
that
Orange.
smells remarkably like a
very well-known company.
well-known brand who makes a winter candle.
I know the one you mean. So I've already had people asking me for it. So my spiced orange is just, it's a thing. I have people waiting for it all year.
I'd better get my order in then, hadn't I?
Yeah. So I actually do it all year round, but I don't have it on my website all year round.
You've got some gift bags there, which look fantastic.
And I've got something super exciting that I've been working really hard on at the moment. It's a sleep spa set, so I'm going to do a couple of versions. Beautiful lilac box with a lavender essential oil candle, bath salts, balm. There's an aromatherapy pulse point thing, so you put that on your pulse point after you've had your bath and you go to sleep, and an amethyst crystal, which is to help you sleep. So I've got that coming out very soon.
That makes a good Christmas present,
Yeah,
doesn't
it will do.
Well, there's a wonderful sort of relaxing smell coming off the
It's these soap-filled sponges with the essential oils.
Oh, these are very popular, I think, aren't they?
I was just working out, chatting to someone. It's 3 years since I launched them, and I never dreamt how popular they would be. I make insane quantities of them, but they make really good Christmas presents.
Well, and looking at these, it looks like they're hanging on the Christmas tree. So tell me, going back to setting up your business, obviously, you must have gone through a huge amount of trial and error with your products.
Yeah.
How long did it take you till you
Well,
started
let's just
selling,
say
do you think?
I started the whole thing unintentionally as a business making soap in 2020, and I'm only just about to launch it as a product because I just couldn't decide on the final recipe for the base, because once you've had the certification done, you can't change your recipe. So to make sure it was right, so that's 4 years of making before I've actually launched the product. Things like candles and wax melts, they're much easier, but it can take me 3 months to get a candle right that burns well, burns evenly, gives a decent scent throw.
So they're soy wax?
They're soy wax, yeah. Mineral waxes have more chemicals in them. So these burn slower than a mineral-based wax, and you get a lot less smoking with a natural wax.
I think they're lovely because they're this brown colour, so they get a bit of a glow.
Yeah, they
through
do.
them when they're burning.
I quite like the apothecary look. I mean, there's lots of people that make candles and similar types of products, but yeah, this is my sort of aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, and you live in such a beautiful place, so it fits that you're producing this lovely product from such a wild space that you live in.
Yes, yeah. I do have the smelliest house in the Pentlands. Well, actually, my postman and my delivery drivers are actually all quite good customers because I obviously get a lot of materials arrive. And when I open the door, especially if I've been making it, all sort of wafts out.
I guess they don't have to go far to buy Christmas presents
No,
then, do
they
they?
don't.
So these gift bags look fantastic. They're really nice.
Yeah.
So you have those made, do you?
There's another crafter, Jenny from Wren and Thistle, so I got her to make them for me.
They're really nice. So tell me, obviously, because we are Edinburgh Outdoors,
Yeah.
And your house smells lovely, and your stall smells lovely. Do you enjoy doing the markets? Because that's a lot of time you're spending at them.
I love it. It's actually the best place for me to meet customers, tell them, and people are really interested, which makes it really nice. And the best bit about it is when people come back. A lady today, she had met me in Biggar, and she didn't buy one of my soap sponges, but she'd been thinking about it for so long. She followed me on social media. She came here last month and I wasn't here, whoops. But then she came back again today.
Do you meet the same people at all these markets that you're going to?
It's a different one. So Mark from the Cocktails, we're often stall buddies in Livingston, and I see him here. And Dylan, I see in Balerno, and I see him here. But it all varies. Feel free to have a smell of things if you fancy.
I love that autumn oak smell. I really like it.
They're all made by me on the edge of the Pentland Hills. This is kind of a testing ground for candles for me, because candles are a lot more technical to make. So if I can test the fragrances and see if people like the wax melts, and if they're popular, then I'll take the time and the effort to be able to make a candle. Try my new one, honeysuckle and davana. It's beautiful.
Ooh. Sounds like you want to eat it.
It's lovely, isn't it? Davana is a herb. It's a member of the Artemisia family, so like a mugwort. This grows in India, but because it's a herb, I think it takes away the crazy sweetness from a honeysuckle. And actually, some of those botanicals are from my garden.
What do you think is different about your brand? What do you think makes it stand out?
So for me, I live on the edge of the hills. I love being outdoors. So this feels very natural and very earthy. I love the brown apothecary jars. It gives me that old-fashioned feeling.
How did you come up with the idea of those leaves and the green of the label?
I'm very lucky in the fact that I've got a friend who is a very talented designer, and when I first started making soap, she was one of my first recipients, and she came up with a few different potential ideas for me, and I showed it to a few people, and this was actually the winner.
Do you know what I really like is following you on social media, and you often say, I'm trialling a new bottle, and then you put 3 bottles and you say, which one do you like? And I love that.
Crowdsourcing's brilliant. And actually, that honeysuckle and davana, the new one, that was actually a customer of mine. She sent me a message on Facebook and she said, I've smelt this fragrance somewhere. And I managed to find the fragrance from a supplier and I ordered it. And it took me about 3 months to test and make it into a candle that works. And but actually, it's become one of my best sellers.
When it comes to Christmas, what's the most popular item, do you think?
Spiced orange in anything I sell it in, so it'll be reed diffusers. I do hanging decorations, wax decorations, which I put all the sort of cinnamon and star anise and festive spices in. So you hang them up on a tree or wherever, but after Christmas you can use it as a wax melt. The spiced orange reed diffusers are so insanely popular. What I'm going to do this year is I'm going to actually make up refill bottles of it to take to my markets, because some people just want it all year round, so they can buy their bottle but then they can just get as many refills as they want to keep them going through the year.
A couple of quick fire questions that we ask everybody on the podcast. Thinking about the outdoors, what in and around Edinburgh, what would you say is your favourite outdoor space?
I mean, I can't say anywhere but the Pentlands, really, because that's where I live, and I have a couple of dogs. You know, even before I moved to the Pentlands, it was a space I spent a lot of time in. I grew up in the country, so for me, the hills are home. But I also grew up by the sea, so I really love to be able to get near to the sea when I can as well. And actually, Edinburgh is one of those perfectly situated places where you can do both. One of my best friends lives in South Queensferry, and Portobello is not far at all.
We've been down to Portobello, litter picking. That was good fun. I enjoyed that one. And we've been in the Pentlands too, but I agree, I love the Pentlands.
Yeah.
What does being in the outdoors mean to you? I mean, obviously, you could probably say standing here, it means being cold.
It's my sanity is being in the Pentlands. It's my place to think. Huge amount of problem solving with a small business like this, and you go out even for half an hour and you're not even necessarily thinking that I'm going out to solve problems, but you just mull these things over when you're out, and you quite often come up with the answer. Either that or 3 o'clock in the morning.
You probably need to get outside your house because of the strong smells as well.
Yeah, especially at the moment when I'm making so much for Christmas. So.
And when you're out in the Pentlands, do you ever have any of the scents here been inspired by you being out in the Pentlands, do you think?
Well, I think all of my fragrances have come from that sort of sense of outdoors. I mean, the heather, the Highland Glen, I mean, that smells to me exactly like actually being in the glen up north. It's a bit peaty and birchy, and when it's burning, it's just the most beautiful outdoors fragrance.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost smells like whiskey. Must be the peat.
And the autumn oak, I mean, if you walk through the woods at this time, the woods, and you've got the leaves, you know, kicking up the leaves.
Well, thank you, Nadine. That was a really lovely visit to the Dalkeith Country Park market. And if you would like to find out more about Pentland Aromatics, you can go to pentlandaromatics.com, and also on social media, just search for it. And that was a great way to get my Christmas shopping done at the same time as recording a podcast. If you've enjoyed the Edinburgh Outdoors podcast, please rate us on your podcast app and leave a review. And don't forget to tell your friends and colleagues about it too. If you know of an outdoor space in or around Edinburgh that might like to be featured, you can get in touch by email, Instagram or TikTok.